Hi friends! Today I'm going to share with everyone my most awesome Chex Mix recipe. Now, I have shown this several times in my vlogs, and I get asked repeatedly in comments or on other places in social media. People ask for my recipe for Chex Mix, and when I go to try to find the video that it's in, you know, I can't remember which video it's in. So this one, I'm titling it with Chex Mix so that people can find it, or if I gotta go get it for them, and I can just get this video and send it on to them. The reason why this Chex Mix is so awesome, because I don't go by the recipe that's on the back of the Chex Mix box, because I make so much Chex Mix. First of all, I would have to like probably triple or quadruple the recipe that's on the box. Secondly, when I first started making Chex Mix, me and my mom, when I was a teenager, we followed the recipe on the box, and a lot of the Chex Mix was dry. It didn't get coated with all of the sauce that you make. And so we found over the years you have to increase it. And my mother tried increasing it a little bit, like just like doubling the recipe or whatever. And when I would start doing that when I got married, it wasn't doable. So I have kind of tweaked it over the years and got it where you're going to get a good coating of the sauce over all of the ingredients that you put inside your pan. So I'm going to share this recipe with you. Anyway, whenever I've had company over, the kids have brought their friends over, it doesn't matter. Neighbors, when I've had neighbors over and I've made Chex Mix, it's like seriously, everybody goes back for seconds and third helpings of this Chex Mix because it is just that awesome. So that's why I'm going to share this recipe with you guys. First, let's go over all the ingredients that we need. You're going to need a big pan. This is if you're going to make a whole bunch. If you're not going to make a whole bunch, you need a smaller pan and you'll just cut the recipe in half. But this is a big roasting pan. I also have one of those huge black roasting pans, like you can roast like a turkey in it. But I use that sometimes, and I use this one. This one I like it because it's a little bit more shallow, it spreads out a little bit more, and so things bake really good where it gets nice and crunchy. So I like using a roasting pan. You're going to need another pan, a saucepan or something a little bit bigger than a saucepan. You need 2.5 sticks of butter. You're going to need some Worcestershire sauce, and I'm going to tell you exactly how much Worcestershire sauce you're going to need. You're going to need about 1/3 of the bottle. So 1/3 of the bottle is probably about like right in there. So when I don't measure with my tablespoons anymore, I just pour it. So I'll use about that much. You're going to need a little bit of salt just to season. You're going to need, I use dill. You don't have to put this in, but I have found that dill actually is pretty good in there. You need onion powder, not onion salts. If you have onion salt and garlic salt, omit the salt because you'll get it too salty. That's why I just use onion powder so I can control my salt, and that's in any kind of cooking. And then you're going to need some garlic powder. We're going to need, let's start over this way. I put in Cheez-Its, I've put in Goldfish, you know, just something a little extra. You need a box of wheat Chex. You need half of a box of corn Chex and rice Chex. But the reason why I have it like this, because with my other half of my bags, I just fold them up and I put them in here together like this. So then this will go for another round of Chex Mix. And then all you have to do is what I did here, just buy a box of wheat Chex. You're going to need some mixed nuts. It depends on how much nuts you like. Usually, I don't buy that small little can. I buy like the medium-sized can, and I just dump the whole thing in. So this, I'm probably going to use, I don't know, probably about like that much, you know. You'll see when I dump it in. You're going to need some pretzels. I usually use pretzel sticks, but this I bought to make those chocolate pretzels where I melt the chocolate, put them in the center of the holes here of the pretzels, and then put an M&M in there. I've done a video on that. I like extra nuts that you don't normally get a whole bunch, because you'll find you'll get a lot of cashews, a lot of almonds, and a lot of peanuts, and then the good stuff like the Brazil nuts and the pecans, there's not that much, so you have to add a little bit extra. At least I do. So first things first, we're going to take this over to the stove. We're going to turn this on. Don't turn it on high, because if you turn it on high, when you go over here to put things together and you're not really watching this, it's going to bubble up and go all over the place. Trust me, because I know. So we got that going. We're going to bring over our seasonings. All right, to this, we're going to dump in our Worcestershire sauce. And I just glunk, 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 glunk. And then I just kind of look at it. We still need more in there. And yeah, about down in there, just do another little splash. So there, that's about 1/3 of the bottle. Okay? Then you need like a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I don't measure because I've been cooking since I've been 10, you know? So I kind of eyeball it. And usually if you cup your hand and put something like that in there, you can guess that that's about a teaspoon. And sometimes I just eyeball it like that into there. So we got another teaspoon or so. Because I use garlic powder and onion powder, I'm going to season this with some salt. But like I said, if you don't have garlic powder, onion powder, and you use onion salt and garlic salt, you will not put the salt in there because you will get it really, really salty. And then here, again, I just put in probably like a couple teaspoons of dill, just like that. Then this is going to melt, and you're going to bring it to a boil. When it comes to a boil, you probably should really take it off. You just want to get all the seasonings infused in here. Some people just use seasoning salt. You can do that, but I just find by adding my own seasonings, I get the flavors exactly how I like it. Okay, so now let's go back over and put the dry ingredients together. Okay, we're going to dump in the wheat Chex. The corn Chex. The rice Chex. Then you're going to get your Cheez-Its if you want Cheez-Its in there. And seriously, you eyeball it. You eyeball it to what you like. That's good for me. Then we're going to add our nuts. See, that's a good amount of nuts, since, like I said, about like right there, like I said. But we need more nuts. So my Brazil nuts, I take like another handful or so of Brazil nuts, and I take a huge handful of my pecans because I love pecans in there. Now we need to add pretzels, and again, you put in as much pretzels as you want. Then you can use a spoon, but since it's not wet just yet, I'm going to go ahead and just mix it with my hands. I find it's easier mixing it with your hands. Okay, one thing is you want to have a little bit of room at the top. You don't want to pile it up to the top, because when you go to stir, you're going to have Chex Mix falling all out of your pan, and you don't want that. We're beginning to boil here. So making sure all of that is all mixed in really good. is, so we're going to get this off. Okay, so here we go. There's our sauce, and what I do is I pour like this, just kind of like back and forth, like so, and you're going to have a little bit left in your pan. That's good. You're going to give all of this a good stir. And if you could only see this really close up, you'll see that all the cereal is getting coated really well. And you want to keep tossing it because some of that liquid that you've poured in the pan, it's going to be there at the bottom, see? And so by keep tossing it like this, you're going to get the dry cereal to soak it up. Okay, after we've given it a good toss, I take a look over here and I see where it's really wet. I can see it's got plenty of sauce on there. So I'm looking for, and it's a little bit drier over this way right in here. So this is where I'm going to put a little bit more, and then I'm just going to kind of go like in the corners. That's usually where your drier cereal is going to be. And then just take the rest of it and then just go around like that. And again, we're going to give it another toss. And by the way, your oven should already be preheated at 250 degrees. Okay, so you can see, hopefully, it's wet, it's nice and coated everywhere. This is going to go now in the oven at 250 degrees for 15 minutes. Always be sure to set your timer, because sometimes you don't set your timer and you're sitting there and it's like, oh, I forgot to go stir my Chex Mix. What you're going to do is this. You're going to put it in for 15 minutes. When your timer goes off, and you'll hear Alex in the background. He's coming down the stairs. He just woke up. You're going to take it out at 15 minutes. You're going to stir it really well. Toss it like I just did there. Back in the oven for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, you're going to take it out. You're going to toss it again. You're going to put it in another 15 minutes. Take it out. Toss it back again. Put it in another 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is what? It's an hour. That's baking an hour at 250, but you have to take it out at 15-minute intervals so that you can toss it. That's just part of the baking process, so it all gets nice and crispy, because you want all of that wet cereal to get up in the heat, you know, where it's going to dry to the cereal, because that's really what you're doing. You're drying the cereal out now because it's all wet. And when it's done, I'll take it out and I'll show you what it looks like. And I gotta go take care of a baby. He's up, he needs his breakfast. Okay, so my Chex Mix is now out of the oven, and this is what it looks like. So it's still really hot. Gonna have to let it cool down. So let me just show you. Just take a few of my Chex Mix. I don't know if you can hear me crunching, but it's very crunchy. And some of the pieces, when you take them out, like if they got really wet, they might still be a little bit wet, but trust me, when it all cools down and everything, all your cereal is going to be nice and crunchy, very tasty, because you allowed that sauce to get over all of the cereal. And that's the key to have an excellent Chex Mix. So, that's my video. I'll see you guys next time.